Hello and welcome to Grand Prix Baltimore. I'm Randy Bueller. I'm joined by Gabe Carlton Barnes. We are getting ready to watch a match between the Hall of Famer, John Finkel, on the right of your screen, and the old school pro, Andrew Cunio, on the left. These guys are 5-0 so far.
And they're off to quite a start in this game. John Finkel living the dream with the parapet into
Kintry Invocation. That is just the way you draw it up.
That's pretty good.
5-5, turning sideways right away.
Normally you'd think the person who played the Radiclaw Mystic on turn 2 was doing pretty well, but it doesn't quite compare in this case.
Not this time. And John keeps the pressure coming. Follows up with a morph.
Cunio did not play a morph on turn 3, which is very interesting.
Yeah, he went turn 2 Radiclaw into nothing.
Yeah, and so it looks like there might be a War Shrieker in his hand, but he has nothing to play off a War Shrieker. At least morph is the traditional play off a War Shrieker. Doesn't look like he has that. So very quickly on his back heels here.
I mean, if he attacks with Radiclaw, he can offer John the trade or just block with wall.
Right.
Get his raid trigger that way.
Yeah, and that is what he'll do. He'll attack.
And John's just going to bounce it off the wall, I guess. Yep, indeed.
Yep.
Archer's Parapet does what it's designed to do. So here's the War Shrieker, but yeah, raid trigger, 3 free mana, nothing to do with it.
Interesting. So he did go for the raid trigger. There's no more mana burn, so he didn't have to worry about that.
Yeah, he didn't have to attack with the Mystic, right?
Right. So it doesn't look like he has an immediate answer to that 5/5 Spirit Warrior. He could untap next turn and double block, but clearly that's not his plan, or he wouldn't have attacked with the Mystic.
Yeah. John plays a 5th land, which is always scary with morphs and the rule of 5. He is representing Abzan Guide.
Abzan Guide or any of the common, the
well, I think with his colored mana, I think it's only Abzan Guide.
Right. Of those common golds, it's only the Abzan Guide.
Wow. Face up Temur Charger, leaving 3 mana.
Which is more than he needs for his parapet activation. So that's
he could have played the morph. What do you think he's representing?
He could be representing a 3 mana morph effect, but I don't think there's anything intimidating these colors.
Could be Feet of Resistance.
Grim Haruspex he does have, so maybe what he wants to do is be able to unmorph a Grim Haruspex and activate his Archer's Parapet. We saw one of his matches earlier, and he does have Haruspex.
Is that Andrew attacking with Radiclaw? Looks like John is content to trade.
And there's the Haruspex.
Yeah, good call, GCB.
Not a very fair trade that time.
The creatures trade, but Haruspex says John gets to draw a card whenever one of his creatures dies.
So that is a nice little bonus for John, little old school card value. There it is.
That's why Andrew needed the attack. Oh no!
John
Feet of Resistance?
Now,
wow.
John with a sort of odd representation of the game state here. What we actually have is a 5/5 with a +1/+1 counter on it. He's got a 6 on there. But so clearly this was the plan. Cunio wanted to make John think that nothing was up when he was attacking for raid. So he attacked again, and he was trying to get that Aerostorm for 5. It did not work out for him. John with kind of a crushing turn there.
Pressure keeps coming.
Yeah.
Another morph for Finkel.
Cunio down to 4. He's facing lethal from the Haruspex because of the activation on the parapet and from the morph. Yeah, so he'll pick him
Scoops him up.
Yeah.
John reveals his morph.
And it was a ruthless ripper. This game was even less close than it looked.
That was kind of a blowout.
Yeah.
Like you said, living the dream with Kintry Invocation.
Absolutely. And then his follow-up was quite good as well. It's not like he stopped having things to play. And Cunio forced into a situation where he just has to play his cards into John's available mana.
Yeah, it basically took him till turn 5 to even attempt to answer the Kintry Invocation.
Yeah.
By then, John had both an answer and also more threats.
Yeah. We're going to jump over to another game here.
Yeah, I don't know if we can get the live look in. Seemed like we had a couple of good feature matches this round.
There we go.
Yeah, this one is Mike Sigist and Reed Duke. We saw Reed's deck last round, and it looked awesome. Mike Sigist, though, doing some awesome things of his own.
Yep, he's got big knucks in play.
And it has a bear friend.
He's living the Teamer dream. He's got all sorts of 4 power. He's got bears and he's got Savage Knuckle Blades. And we're not sure the life totals here. It does look like Reed has presented a Mandrill, which can trade with that bear.
Right.
But how is he going to answer a Savage Knuckle Blade? That guy is pretty tough. He does have the option of double block here. Knuckle Blade, of course.
Sigist forcing the action.
Yeah.
Turns him sideways. Reed's going to line up Mandrills on the bear token.
He's certainly thinking about it.
Yeah, there's one more for Reed, but only 3 mana, so there's nothing devastating he can do with just 3 mana.
Right. The best thing would be, of course, the Ruthless Ripper.
Sure.
A great option to have, but that can't take out the Savage Knuckle Blade anyway, because Sigist can always bounce it.
All right. Reed does push the Mandrills in front of the bear token, so he's taking a hit from the Knuckle Blade. He's offering a trade here. Seems a little nervous that Sigist might have a trick. Is that Awaken the Bear mana?
It is. It's also Pump Knuckle Blade mana, though.
Fair enough. Yeah, Pump Knuckle Blade.
Which is what he'll do. So Reed taking a big hit.
Ooh.
And it looks like he's in response to the pump.
Yep. Points the charm at it. Oh my goodness.
So that's a Marty Charm dealing 4 damage. Well, now that's a 10-10 getting pumped too. So Reed's going to take 12 here. That is...
Oh, jeez.
So we know a little bit about the life totals, and that it's Reed's is not very high.
I mean, I like the way Reed played that, right? He goes to pump the Knuckle Blade. Now he doesn't have...
Now if he has to bounce it, he can't replay it.
Right.
Yep. And Reed just obviously trying to buy time to get around that Knuckle Blade and make life difficult for Mike, but...
I mean, I guess the good news for Reed is that the Mandrills did successfully trade with the bear token.
It's true. He has one less problem to deal with. You know, there are some commons that deal with the Knuckle Blade. There's Willie Loxton that can just block it.
Does Teamer Banner deal with the Knuckle Blade?
No, I don't think that it does, unless I'm misreading the Teamer Banner. So now he has 5 mana.
Yeah, not enough to flip a Loxodon.
Not enough to flip a Loxodon. Oh, this is interesting. If his life total is
low enough that the bear companion is relevant?
Yeah, then he may see him attack with both. We're back?
We'll definitely let you guys know how that turns out. But John and Andrew are back at it.
And with a series of come and play tapped lands, the classic opening for this format. Looks like they both have the colored mana they need.
Again, no turn 3 morph for Cuneo.
But he has the turn 3 Ratclaw Mystic. Better than doing nothing with his mana, I guess.
Oh, yeah. Kind of back on curve in a weird way.
Mm-hmm.
Falconer's a nice threat for John.
Very good.
But there's the long shot squad to answer.
Elegantly answered by Cunio, although John, if he wants to start pumping, will get ahead.
Right. No 4th land for Andrew. Is it morph time?
That looks like a Pine Walker going face down.
It's a good one.
And I suspect we'll see a counter going that Absent Falconer. So now, Cunio, having missed a drop, missed a land drop, probably won't be able to outlast his long shot squad, so he may fall behind on this front. Yep, no land.
What's he got for this 2 mana?
There we go. It's pretty good. That's the always sad Savage Punch where you have to tap your Outlast guy so then you can't attack with the big guy after he gets the bonus.
Still, trading Savage Punch for Absent Falconer,
yeah,
plenty good enough.
And he does get his Outlast for the turn, so. Probably why he thought so long about it was trying to figure out a way to get in that extra damage. But
sure.
Having seen Feat of Resistance last game as well, probably he wants to get a use out of that Savage Punch while it can.
Finkel attacks with his morph. We think it's a Pine Walker.
Yeah. And he has the opportunity now to apply more
John
pressure, but
just
instead...
ships the turn back.
And he's,
It's a lot of cards in hand.
yeah, it's a tough board to attack into.
Right.
Of course...
I mean, it's basically only Pine Walker. Well, I guess Dragon Scale Boon and Pine Walker can blow you out here if you're Andrew.
and you might not want to attack into a kill shot either. So...
Sure.
You got to think Cuneo is going to think something's up with John having that handful of cards.
Agreed. Yeah, kill shot's probably the most likely thing he'd be attacking into, actually.
Right.
Pine Walker's uncommon.
And does he have anything in hand if there is a Pine Walker? I don't think he does.
All right, still no 5th mana, but face-up Charger and an Outlast.
And we'll see John just flip that Pine Walker. Yep.
I would like large.
Now
Enough of this 2/2 stuff.
Well, and he didn't get the 2-for-1 out of it, but he does have the biggest creature on the board.
Right.
Well, I guess it's the Longshot Squad matches up with it. And he made Cuneo work. He made him think. And, you know, there's something to be said for that. Make your opponent's turns harder.
6 mana for 2 morphs for John.
Cuneo drew that land, and he has the Aerostorm again. I wouldn't be surprised to see him attack and use the Aerostorm to kill that Pine Walker. Did you see a Treasure Cruise in that hand?
Oh, really? I didn't see it, but I believe you.
I think there might be.
Cuneo does attack with both the Longshot Squad and the Teamer Charger. John is not interested in trying to trade his morphs off. He's just going to take it, looks like.
Yep. Now I suspect we'll see Cuneo use that Aerostorm on the Pine Walker.
He drew the 5th land? Yeah, okay. 5 land, and indeed. I mean, John seems to value those morphs more than the Teamer Charger plus 3 damage.
So I would suspect that they're pretty good.
Yeah, no, I was a little bit surprised that neither of them was willing to step in front of a Teamer Charger.
Yep. John may be thinking that he was in an aggressive position with Andrew missing land drops. And so he didn't block for that reason, but I think it's more likely that they're just good morphs.
Well, they're both attacking.
And one of them was a Teamer Charger, so not the most incredible morph in the business. But John once again with the biggest creature on the board.
The bad news is you had to reveal this Willy Loxodon to flip up the Teamer Charger, but you weren't trying to keep that information silent anyway.
Right.
Just run it face up.
The classic, reveal a card in your hand and say it's coming.
Right.
An old unglued card.
Oh yeah. Infernal Spawn of Evil, maybe?
I think that was the card. So, gosh, is that a Treasure Cruise? I can't quite tell. Cuneo's drawn another land, so he's going to be able to play his spells, but going up to 12, it's still only 2 hits from the Willy Loxodon, so he has to deal with that thing. Maybe his plan is to build a big enough Longshot Squad to block.
And he adds an Alpine Grizzlies to the board.
Another option, he can double block with the Grizzly and the Teamer Charger if he wants to.
John seems like he could just turn them all sideways. There are no profitable blocks for Cuneo.
No, you know, he can make that double block, but then he's still taking 5, and who knows what that morph is.
Right, exactly.
Could be even more. And if he has any tricks, it's a really, really dominant attack.
John trying to decide how he wants to attack here. He's up a game. He's 5-0 on the tournament so far.
If he does attack with everything and he doesn't have a follow-up, Cuneo has the option of chump blocking the Loxodon and cracking back for 12,
John decides to attack with only the Loxodon.
Yeah.
Do you double block here if you're Andrew?
if that's a treasure cruise, they sure do, and I think that it is.
It sure looks like a treasure
Yeah,
cruise.
because you can give up that card economy just to get into the late
Even
game.
if he has a trick so that you're getting 2-for-1s, you've got the ability to recoup some of that by getting the delve to make treasure cruise castable.
Yeah, and if he does have a trick, what's your plan for winning this game? You know? I think you have to draw something else. Cunio instead electing to go the chump block route, also perfectly reasonable if you have a card draw spell. Try to draw into a better answer than
I feel like
set
I
up
might
for a
like
trick.
double block better than chump.
I think I would have too. Made that play, but we don't know Cunio's deck as well as he does, so maybe he's got a different line.
Long shot squad's attacking.
Look at that. Maybe
Is he need a raid trigger?
he's got
What's
a
he
morph,
got going
a
on over there?
Tree, he's got 2 morphs, and then what is that blue card?
I mean, John is also at 12.
John is at 12, yeah.
I mean, if Andrew's plan is to never kill the Loxodon, but just buy himself time because he thinks he can crack back.
You can, you know, they're both attacking each other for 6, so each has just 2 hits.
John's also got 7 untapped mana to go with that morph.
And it looks like he has double blocked. Oh,
Oh, just Hooded Hydra. That's all.
wow, that's a tough one.
Ouch.
So, the double block's going to work out. The long shot squad is going to trade for both of them, but John's going to get a bunch of 1/1s. I believe he double blocked. It looked like Cunio was ordering the blockers.
Yeah.
Yep, he did.
All right. Long shot squad with 3 +1/+1 counters trades for Hooded Hydra plus Teamer Charger. Now some snakes.
And John seems to be
5 of them.
presenting sort of that classic plan of, I'm going to attack you with one creature while holding you off with a bunch of others. But instead of having a flying creature in this case, he just has the biggest guy. So try to find a way to block this Willy Loxodon. Cunio, though, has a plan to work around that.
Oh, Kintree Invocation.
But perhaps
Jeez.
not around that. That Kintree Invocation has been really good for John.
Make a 7/7.
Make a 7/7 and then send in my 6/7. Now my second largest creature. So that's a Kintree Warden. So that's just
Block,
block and
regenerate.
regenerate. A pretty
not
solid
nothing.
answer to gigantic creatures, but only one at a time.
Right.
So-
Second gigantic creature is a problem.
Yeah, and it looks like Cunio drew secret plans, and it is not a great time for that card.
No.
A little bit slow to set up.
He doesn't even have a double block that works.
No, he may be in chump block mode really quick here. If he plays the morph and the plans, he'll only have 2 mana left, which he has to use to regenerate his Kintree Warden. And John looking at the option, soon he can also attack with those snakes.
It's like it's Treasure Cruise time.
It's Treasure Cruise.
Let's get some more cards in here. Maybe one of these can answer a 6/7 plus a 7/7 plus 5 tokens.
It's really nice to see Andrew Cunio play a blue card and draw spell. Draw more cards with it. That's
He's done a little
Very
bit of that over
classic.
the years.
if nothing else, at least comforting for him in this situation where he's staring down 2 gigantic monsters.
It was also draw go.
It was draw go. And John, yeah, seeing that there aren't a lot of guys out there, knows he can start getting into those snakes when Cunio in a real tough
Yeah.
spot. Now, Cunio looks like,
None of the options on board look good.
yeah,
I mean, the Kintree Warden can block something and regenerate, but yeah, okay. The Bears can pick off a token. He's going to take 10 with this line,
he's taking 10.
down to 2.
Yeah, he's in a real tough spot because now those snakes are so dangerous.
Yeah,
This
this
is
next
up
turn better be a good one.
all but one of them. So John having no follow-up. Looks like Cunio drew a Mystic of the Hidden Way, and his only land is a Windswept Heath. So he can go down to 1 to add another mana to what he has available. Oh, that's a flying crane technique.
Flying crane technique.
I did not see that in his hand. Well, that's a good
Wow.
plan, too.
Wow. Flying crane technique.
Okay, so,
Off the top rope.
so what we saw there was that he had a very good reason to try to draw 3 cards. That was great.
Treasure cruise to dig, to find. He knew he had an out.
Yeah, now, yeah.
And he found it.
Another turn. That's great.
Wow.
So,
All right, looks like Reed Duke got the first game here against Mike Sigist. That's actually kind of impressive. Sigist was the one with the big monsters he was turning sideways when we left, wasn't he?
yeah, he sure was. Well, it's possible they played another game in between.
No, it says 0-1.
Oh, it's 0-1. Yeah, okay. Or also possible. Yeah, I wonder. We didn't see what was in Reed's hand, but
Right. I mean, we saw Reed's deck last round,
Right.
and it is a thing of beauty. It is 5-color madness. Like all the bombs, all the rares, all the multi-lands. Villainous Wealth for late game value. Like if he gets to the late game, he's going to win against just about anybody in the room.
oh, that's a great play too. And that's a big play because Mike doesn't have any other green sources. It looks like. Is he playing green or is he just playing the Radiclaw Mystic? It's a great card you can play when you're not playing green. Of course, he has the Knuckle Blade as well. So. What's nice playing a deck like Reed's, he knows what his plan is. He's going to try to get to the late game. You know, he's going to play defense. He's going to block. He's going to stop your important threats. So that's one of a nice thing with building your deck a particular way, you know, and knowing your plan.
Yeah, Reed on the front foot this game. Attacking. How should Sigurds block? Just take it?
Yeah, I don't think you can block there unless you want to give, trade one of your morphs for the Heart Piercer and double block.
Yep.
I think that's the only real option. So you can't block a morph with having 5 mana. So your stars are green mana, but it comes into play tapped. And now facing down a lot of creatures that are hard to block. The Unyielding Krumar, a great defensive card, but if Reed can produce white mana, really hard to double block that guy. Can you tell what that triple land is?
No.
Sigist also concerned about the Krumar.
Suspension Field takes that out of play. There's a path so he can attack with his 2 morphs, which he's going to do. Morphs just kind of flying by each other here.
As they
like strangers
often do in the
night.
mid-game. Yep. And we're back for game 3.
Let's get this game 3. Face-up Teamer Charger for John Finkel on turn 2. Face-up Teamer Charger for Andrew Cunio on
And he
turn
says,
2.
I'll match. Both these guys knowing it's great to get on the board before turn 3 in this format.
Interesting. Andrew not interested in trading.
And John with the traditional turn 3 morph.
Which John not interested in trading either.
Gives a cursory thought to it and then picks up his pen.
Now who does it favor if these guys just keep attacking and not blocking?
Well, we've seen both of these. We've seen John's second and prior round, and we know that he has a Doom Blast. And it looks like he may actually have it in his hand here.
Okay.
So I think that it favors Cunio to trade blows. He also has the Flying Crane technique, which has finished the game very quickly.
Right.
I think he's more comfortable racing.
Yeah, it seems like if you know your opponent has Flying Crane technique, that you would make me want to trade creatures a little more aggressively.
Yes.
Just try to keep the board small enough that isn't lethal.
Right. Reduce the impact of it. Now, John has a couple of removal spells in his hand. Oh, it looks like I didn't even see that one. So I also saw an Abzan Charm.
I saw a kill shot.
Kill shot. I thought I saw a Smite the Monstrous as well.
Wow.
So Maybe John's plan here is...
Oh, I thought Arc Lightning never kills 2 things in sealed. Somebody told me Arc Lightning doesn't kill 2 things.
I don't know who would tell you something like that.
Apparently, Arc Lightning. Wow, yeah, Teamer Charger. That is one of the juiciest targets you can get with that last point when your Arc Lightning is also killing a morph. John tries to reload, drawing 2 with an Obzon Charm.
And note that he looked at his hand, saw what was going on, and said, "I'm just drawing 2." You know, a lot of
still
folks
no
want to
land.
save that as a removal spell.
Yeah.
And
Also
suddenly,
no land for Andrew, but 4/2 attacker.
And John's got a Kin Tree Invocation in his hand, I think. And so that card can't do anything right now, as good as it was the prior 2 games. John did finally find the 4th land. But it looks like he's just going to have to take a hit here from the Alpine Grizzly. Unless that is a kill shot that you saw.
I'm going to guess it's not, or that Grizzly would be dead.
I feel like it would. John would want to use his mana given the way this game is going. And John hits 2 land drops in a row, so he should be able to get back into this. Now, what would you do here, Andy? Would you remove a creature? It looks like he has a... Oh. I think that's what I do too.
Especially with Kin Tree Invocation in hand.
Yep.
If this creature survives the turn, but it's not gonna.
It does not.
Wow.
That's
Prowess
huge.
trigger, that was 7 damage. John's down to 5 all of a sudden.
He's down to 4.
4.
So both those creatures are lethal if Cunio has a spell to play.
Yeah, I mean, John forced to gamble a little bit here. I think he's playing his hand reasonably, but...
He does create a second creature, which is huge. Now he has 2 blockers. He can trade these off, and
yeah, he
he's
just
1 land away from Doom Blast.
he's hoping he can block, and trade.
Yeah.
That is John's plan. Is if Cunio can remove either of those creatures, he just wins.
Yep.
Presumably the removal spell will trigger Prowess on Bloodfire Expert, and Andrew will have a pair of 4-power creatures. It doesn't look like he has a removal spell though.
He doesn't have
attack.
I think all blocks are basically equivalent here, as long as John decides
I mean,
to go
hypothetically, John could take the Expert and plan to go to 1. That
Right.
seems super risky, though.
It does.
I think he'd block.
Yep. I think
Everything trades.
he was tempted a little bit because he has the Doom Blast, so Cunio could play another creature and then he could Doom Blast and already have a guy up. But I think John's happy with this situation, considering where he was a turn ago.
Yeah. Morph for Andrew.
John tries Feet of Resistance. Not quite the right moment for that card. It looks like he's going to be casting an Abzan Battle Priest this turn, unless he wants to hold up a Smite.
Wow. He held up Smite the Monstrous.
He's holding up Smite the Monstrous.
So if Andrew flips that over into a lethal creature, John can kill it. Can't kill it right now.
Cunio.
Andrew not interested. He's like,
he's got the
Aerostorm.
That's it. John with a clever play.
Wow.
And it was
a Snowhorn.
Had the guy.
He could have flipped it, but yeah. John a little pinched on white mana.
Oh, John had the option of playing Abzan Battle Priest and holding up Feet of Resistance, but
ooh,
it's a little bit awkward because
that play just gets smushed by Snowhorn Rider, right?
It
You
does,
block
but
and feed, but you trample over for a couple. And
he gains life though because the Battle Priest gets the counter, so he's sort of he's not excited about how that turned out, but I don't think it would have beat the Aerostorm anyway.
I mean, Andrew could have just Aerostormed for 4. 4 was good enough. John was at 4.
Right.
He won't attack into a Battle Priest.
Right.
He'll just point the 4-point Aerostorm.
Also.
All right, so Andrew Cunio wins. John Finkel picks up his first loss here. I thought John had it. I mean, he in game 2 had Hooded Hydra tokens and a Willy Loxodon and a 7/7 Kin Tree Invocation that he made off the Willy Loxodon. But Andrew had kind of pecked away and gotten him to 12 such that Andrew was able to Treasure Cruise into a Flying Crane technique.
And use the Flying Crane technique. I mean, he attacked with a Kin Tree Warden. He attacked with a 1/1 Regenerator, you know?
That Kin Tree Warden that was a great game for Kin Tree Warden.
It was.
Block, regenerate on the 6/7, block, regenerate on the 7/7.
Yeah.
Fly over with double strike.
I think this is one of those cards. It's just gotten better as the format's gone on. And here we are back to Reduke and Mike Sigist.
Still game 2, so we checked in on this game earlier. We're a little bit surprised to see Reed up a game because we thought Mike was winning game 1, but Reed clearly stabilized and won that one. And now the longer this one goes, like just having seen the 5-color, the power Reed Duke was able to squeeze into this 5-color deck, I gotta think this favors Reed before we start parsing the board.
Well, none of the creatures are sideways. That's usually a sign to me when I walk up to a game.
Yeah, it's Reed's turn and nothing sideways.
Nothing sideways yet. So Reed killing the biggest threat on the board, it looks like. Taking out a Willie Loxodon.
Yeah, I guess Sigist is down to 7. That probably explains some of why he's not attacking.
Right.
Even though his creatures did seem slightly bigger.
Well, all of Reed's guys are pretty big. He's got that.
Yeah.
And this is such a...
Snowhorn stays on defense. Hooting Mandrill stays on defense, but the death-touching Shambling Attendants headed over.
Yeah, such an agonizing card to deal with when you're trying to block.
Right. Because you kind of need to double block in order to threaten to kill it, but then you're getting 2 for 1 because of the death touch.
Yep, and that is exactly what's happening here.
Yeah, he does line up a double block.
Says, I'll throw my worst morph and my bear at it. Are we going to see another Kintry? Yes, we are. Hey.
Funny. Regenerate! Well, that's about as good as Sigist could hope for. Trade the bear token for the Shambling Attendants.
Yeah, absolutely. And
he's down that Loxodon, though. Now he's got, I mean, all of his creatures are small currently. It's a 1/1 Kintry, it's a 2/2 Bear's Companion, and a couple of morphs.
One would expect that at least one of those morphs probably has a little bit of size to it. I'm certain.
Probably.
Mike's hoping that they do.
Yeah, I mean, Reed is able to attack with Snowhorn and or Hooting Mandrills based on what we can see.
Yep.
All right, well, Mike leaves all his mana untapped, so he's representing everything up to and including Willie Loxodon.
Yeah, and even though Kintry did a really great job on that previous turn preventing the 2 for 1, now it's just a 1/1 facing down a bunch of tramplers.
Yeah.
So it's not where it's going to shine.
Reed's going to pop his banner, dig for another card.
With plenty of mana available, he says.
Still got 5 to work with if he comes up with something cool. Now, what do you think the attack is?
Well, I think the attack might be nothing. You can attack with Snowhorn Rider, but it just gets eaten by Willie Loxodon. So
you're going to attack with nothing? Your opponent's at 7.
I think you're probably right that there is an attack, but you have to consider the option that if you just pass the turn, you might find out what your opponent's morphs are because they might just flip.
I don't know. Face down morphs are good enough to hold you at bay. You're only going to find out. I mean, he's just like, I'm going to leave my monastery flock face down. Apparently, it's really scary. I like this attack with the 2 tramplers, especially if Reed has a trick. I mean, if Reed has any kind of trick, then this attack's great.
Yeah, I think it's a good attack. I think that.
I mean, I feel like even without tricks, though, you can't just assume that every morph is awesome.
No, certainly. I think attacking is correct, but the reason Reed didn't just throw his creatures into the fray is he's considering, do I try to force my opponent to show me the morphs using their choked mana?
Fair enough.
Because Mike only has 1 green mana available, so. It looks like
Bear's Companion in front of Snowhorn Rider is a chump block. It's not even a great chump block because of the trample.
I'm suspecting we're going to see a 4/3 here. And do that.
Oh, you think it's a free
Bear's
weaponsmith?
Companion +3/+0. That's what's going to happen.
It is a free weaponsmith.
That's pretty good.
So now the Bear's Companion is big enough to trade with the Snowhorn Rider. And the free weaponsmith, first striking, was good enough to take out the Mandrills.
Or to take the Murderous Cut out of Reed's hand, which is what ends up happening.
So Murderous Cut trades with that. Oh, trample.
And the trample is enough to kill Mike Sigist.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, trample damage gets there. Between the Snowhorn and the Hooting Mandrills, they're both trampling over, and that is 7.
That was a great morph to have, but
if Reed doesn't have a trick, Sigist kind of blows him out, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Both of Reed's attackers would have died. Sigist would have been able to hold on to the 4/3 first striker.
Yeah, and he would have had 4 life, so he would have even had a little bit of breathing room. Well, that was a pretty cool part of that game to come in on.
Yeah. Timely Murderous Cut, though, and Reed Duke wins the match. 2 games to 0. Reed moves to 6-0.
No surprise there.
Reed 6-0?
Reed 6-0.
Yeah, he's pretty good at Magic. See the parenthetical 5 by his name.
If you like Reed Duke's deck, which you've now seen a little bit of in 2 different rounds, check out the article he wrote about this sealed format. It is a perfect example of what he described in his article.
Nice.
These are the kinds of decks he likes to build. It's a pretty fun read.
Do we have another match still going in the future match area? Try to move them on camera, is that the idea? And then presumably we'll also have a turbo match recorded.
Great, more Magic.
See if we can get to all 4. We've been going 3 for 4.
Yeah, that would be pretty good to get all 4.
Three matches around has been pretty good. I don't know if we can actually hit for the cycle this time. Not that I can remember who else is in the feature match area. I heard Finkel Cunio and
I got excited about that. I'm not sure who else is there. So what do you think about Kintry Warden?
Yeah, I know that.
That match
The back table match just ended.
and it's in turbo still.
Do we have to wait for the turbo match to end before we can start it, or can we start it? No, we have to wait.
for it.
Does that
We
mean?
may not even be able to do it. Just without doing it.
Yeah, I mean sometimes the turbo match takes